using Java Server Faces technology in web pages. Web pages represent the presentation layer for web applications. The process of creating web pages of a Java Server Faces application includes adding components to the page and wiring them to backing beans, validators, converters, and other server-side objects that are associated with the page. This chapter explains how to create web pages using various types of component and core tags. In the next chapter, you will learn about adding converters, validators, and listeners to component tags to provide additional functionality to components. The following topics are addressed here: setting up a page, adding components to a page using HTML tags, using core tags, setting up a page. A typical Java Server Faces web page includes the following elements: a set of namespace declarations that declare the Java Server Faces tag libraries, optionally, the new HTML head H, head and body H, body tags A, form tag H, form that represents the user input components. To add the Java Server Faces components to your web page, you need to provide the page access to the two standard tag libraries: the Java Server Faces HTML tag library and the Java Server Faces core tag library. The Java Server Faces standard HTML tag library defines tags that represent common HTML user interface components. This library is linked to the HTML render kit at http download oracle.com. JavaE 6. JavaServer Faces 2. 1. Docs. RenderKit docs. The Java Server Faces core tag library defines tags that perform core actions. For a complete list of Java Server Faces facelets tags and their attributes, refer to the documentation at http download oracle.com. JavaE 6. JavaServer Faces 2. 1. Docs. Docs. Facelets. To use any of the Java Server Faces tags, you need to include appropriate directives at the top of each page specifying the tag libraries. For facelets applications, the XML namespace directives uniquely identify the tag library URI and the tag prefix. For example, when creating a facelets XHTML page, include namespace directives as follows: HTML XMLNS equal HTTP W3 org 1999 XHTML XMLNS our equal HTTP Java Sun com JSF HTML XMLNS Fahrenheit equal HTTP Java Sun com JSF core. The XML namespace URI identifies the tag library location, and the prefix value is used to distinguish the tags belonging to that specific tag library. You can also use other prefixes instead of the standard H or F. However, when including the tag in a page, you must use the prefix that you have chosen for the tag library. For example, in the following web page, the form tag must be referenced using the H prefix because the preceding tag library directive uses the H prefix to distinguish the tags defined in HTML tag library. H. Form. The sections adding components to a page using HTML tags and using core tags describe how to use the component tags from the Java Server Faces standard HTML tag library and the core tags from the Java Server Faces core tag library. Adding components to a page using HTML tags. The tags defined by the Java Server Faces standard HTML tag library represent HTML form components and other basic HTML elements. These components display data or accept data from the user. This data is collected as part of a form and is submitted to the server, usually when the user clicks a button. This section explains how to use each of the component tags shown in Table 7-1. Table 7-1 The component tags tag functions rendered as appearance column represents a column of data in a data component, a column of data in an HTML table, a column in a table. Command button submits a form to the application in HTML. Input type equal type. element, where the type value can be submit, reset, or image a button command links to another page or location on a page in HTML. A ref element, a hyperlink data table represents a data wrapper on HTML. Table element, a table that can be updated dynamically. Form represents an input form. Inner tags of the form receive the data that will be submitted with the form in HTML. Form element, no appearance graphic image displays an image in HTML. IMG element, an image input hidden allows a page author to include a hidden variable in a page in HTML. Input type hidden element, no appearance input secret allows a user to input a string without the actual string appearing in the field in HTML. Input type password element, a text field, which displays a row of characters instead of the actual string entered. Input text allows a user to input a string in HTML. Input type text element, a text field. Input text tree allows a user to enter a multi-line string in HTML. Text tree element, a multi-row text field message displays a localized message in HTML. Span tag, if styles are used, a text string messages displays localized messages, a set of HTML. Span tags, if styles are used, a text string output format displays a localized message. Plain text output label displays a nested component as a label for a specified input field. An HTML label element, plain text output links to another page or location on a page without generating an action event in HTML. A element, a hyperlink output text displays a line of text. Plain text panel grid displays a table in HTML. Table element with tr and td elements, a table panel groups a set of components under one parent, a HTML div or span element, a row in a table. Select Boolean checkbox allows the user to change the value of a Boolean choice in HTML. Input type checkbox element, a checkbox select item represents one item in a list of items from which the user must select one in HTML. Option element, no appearance select items represents a list of items from which the user must select one. A list of HTML. Option elements, no appearance select many checkbox displays a set of checkboxes from which the user can select multiple values. A set of HTML. Input elements of type checkbox, a set of checkboxes. Select many listbox allows a user to select multiple items from a set of items, all displayed at once in HTML. Select element, a list box. Select many menu allows the user to select multiple items from a set of items in HTML. Select element, a scrollable combo box. Select one list box allows the user to select one item from a set of items, all displayed at once. An HTML. Select element, a list box. Select one menu allows the user to select one item from a set of items in HTML. Select element, a scrollable combo box. Select one radio allows the user to select one item from a set of items in HTML. Input type radio element, a set of radio buttons. The next section explains the important tag attributes that are common to most component tags. For each of the components discussed in the following sections, writing bean properties explains how to write a bean property bound to a particular component or its value. Common component tag attributes. Most of the component tags support the attributes shown in Table 7-2. Table 7-2 Common Component Tag Attributes. Attribute description binding identifies a bean property and binds the component instance to it. It uniquely identifies the component. Immediate, if set to true, indicates that any events, validation, and conversion associated with the component should happen when request parameter values are applied. Rendered specifies a condition under which the component should be rendered. If the condition is not satisfied, the component is not rendered. Style specifies a cascading style sheet CSS style for the tag. Style class specifies a CSS class that contains definitions of the styles. Value identifies an external data source and binds the component's value to it. All the tag attributes except id can accept expressions, as defined by the EL, described in Chapter 6, Expression Language. The id attribute. The id attribute is not usually required for a component tag but is used when another component or a server-side class must refer to the component. If you don't include an id attribute, the JavaServer Faces implementation automatically generates a component id. Unlike most other JavaServer Faces tag attributes, the id attribute takes expressions using only the evaluation syntax described in the immediate attribute, which uses the $delimiters. For more information on expression syntax, see value expressions. The immediate attribute. Input components and command components, those that implement the action source interface, such as buttons and hyperlinks, can set the immediate attribute to true to force events, validations, and conversions to be processed when request parameter values are applied. You need to carefully consider how the combination of an input component's immediate value and a command component's immediate value determines what happens when the command component is activated. Assume that you have a page with a button and a field for entering the quantity of a book in a shopping cart. If the immediate attributes of both the button and the field are set to true, the new value entered in the field will be available for any processing associated with the event that is generated when the button is clicked. The event associated with the button as well as the event validation and conversion associated with the field are all handled when request parameter values are applied. If the button's immediate attribute is set to true but the field's immediate attribute is set to false, the event associated with the button is processed without updating the field's local value to the model layer. The reason is that any events, conversion, or validation associated with the field occurs after request parameter values are applied. The rendered attribute. A component tag uses a Boolean EL expression along with the rendered attribute to determine whether the component will be rendered. For example, the command link component in the following section of a page is not rendered if the card contains no items. H. Command link 8 equal check. Rendered equal card. Number of items. 0. H. Output text value equal bundle. Card check. H. Command link. Unlike nearly every other JavaServer Faces tag attribute, the rendered attribute is restricted to using RVALUE expressions. As explained in value and method expressions, these RVALUE expressions can only read data. They cannot write the data back to the data source. Therefore, expressions used with rendered attributes can use the arithmetic operators and literals that RVALUE expressions can use but LVALUE expressions cannot use. For example, the expression in the preceding example uses the operator. The style and style class attributes. The style and style class attributes allow you to specify CSS styles for the rendered output of your tags. Displaying error messages with the H. Message in H. Messages tags describes an example of using the style attribute to specify styles directly in the attribute. A component tag can instead refer to a CSS class. The following example shows the use of a data table tag that references the style class list background. H. Data table 8 equal books. Style class equal list background value equal book ball. Books var equal book. The style sheet that defines this class is style sheet. CSS, which will be included in the application. For more information on defining styles, see Cascading Style Sheets specification at http://w3.org. Style. CSS. The value and binding attributes. A tag representing an output component uses the value and binding attributes to bind its component's value or instance, respectively, to an external data source. Adding HTML head and body tags. The HTML head H. Head and body H. Body tags add HTML page structure to JavaServer Faces web pages. The H. Head tag represents the head element of an HTML page. The H. Body tag represents the body element of an HTML page. The following is an example of an XHTML page using the usual head and body markup tags. Type HTML public. W3C. DTDX HTML1. 0 transitional. ENHTTP. W3. Org. TR. XHTML1. DTD. XHTML1 transitional. DTD. HTML XMLNS equal HTTP. W3. Org. 1999. XHTML. Head. Title. Add a title. Title. Head. Body. Add content. Body. The following is an example of an XHTML page using H. Head and H. Body tags. Type HTML public. W3C. DTDX HTML1. 0 transitional. ENHTTP. W3. Org. TR. XHTML1. DTD. XHTML1 transitional. DTD. HTML XMLNS equal HTTP. W3. Org. 1999. XHTML XMLNS. Our equal HTTP. Java. Sun. Com. JSF. HTML. H. Head. Add a title. H. Head. H. Body. Add content. H. Body. Both of the preceding example code segments render the same HTML elements. The head and body tags are useful mainly for resource relocation. For more information on resource relocation, see resource relocation using H. Output tags. Adding a form component. An H. Form tag represents an input form, which includes child components that can contain data that is either presented to the user or submitted with the form. Figure 7-1 shows a typical login form in which a user enters a username and password, then submits the form by clicking the login button. Figure 7-1 a typical form. The H. Form tag represents the form on the page and encloses all the components that display or collect data from the user, as shown here. H. Form. Other Java server faces tags and other content. H. Form. The H. Form tag can also include HTML markup to lay out the components on the page. Note that the H. Form tag itself does not perform any layout. Its purpose is to collect data and to declare attributes that can be used by other components in the form. A page can include multiple H. Form tags, but only the values from the form submitted by the user will be included in the postback request, using text components. Text components allow users to view and edit text in web applications. The basic types of text components are as follows. Label, which displays read-only text field, which allows users to enter text, often to be submitted as part of a form. Text area, which is a type of text field that allows users to enter multiple lines of text. Password field, which is a type of text field that displays a set of characters, such as asterisks, instead of the password text that the user enters. Figure 7-2 shows examples of these text components. Figure 7-2 example text components. Text components can be categorized as either input or output. A Java server faces output component is rendered as read-only text. An example is a label. A Java server faces input component is rendered as editable text. An example is a text field. The input and output components can each be rendered in various ways to display more specialized text. Table 7-3 lists the tags that represent the input components. Table 7-3 input tags tag function H. Input hidden allows a page author to include a hidden variable in a page H. Input secret the standard password field. Accepts one line of text with no spaces and displays it as a set of asterisks as it is typed H. Input text a standard text field. Accepts a one-line text string H. Input text area the standard text area. Accepts multiple lines of text. The input tags support the tag attributes shown in Table 7-4 in addition to those described in Common Component Tag Attributes. Note that this table does not include all the attributes supported by the input tags but just those that are used most often. For the complete list of attributes, refer to the documentation at http download oracle.com. JavaE 6. JavaServer faces 2. 1. Docs. Vlux. Facelets. Table 7-4 Input Tag Attributes Attribute Description Converter identifies a converter that will be used to convert the component's local data. See using the standard converters for more information on how to use this attribute. Converter message specifies an error message to display when the converter registered on the component fails. Dir specifies the direction of the text displayed by this component. Acceptable values are LTR, meaning left to right, and RTL, meaning right to left. Label specifies a name that can be used to identify this component in error messages. Length specifies the code for the language used in the rendered markup, such as NS. Required takes a Boolean value that indicates whether the user must enter a value in this component. Required message specifies an error message to display when the user does not enter a value into the component. Validator identifies a method expression pointing to a backing bean method that performs validation on the component's data. See referencing a method that performs validation for an example of using the F. Validator tag, F. Validator message specifies an error message to display when the validator registered on the component fails to validate the component's local value. Value change listener identifies a method expression that points to a backing bean method that handles the event of entering a value in this component. See referencing a method that handles a value change event for an example of using value change listener. Table 7-5 lists the tags that represent the output components. Table 7-5 output tags tag function H. Output format displays a localized message H. Output label the standard read-only label. Displays a component as a label for a specified input field H. Output link displays N. A ref tag that links to another page without generating an action event H. Output text displays a one-line text string. The output tags support the converter tag attribute in addition to those listed in common component tag attributes. The rest of this section explains how to use some of the tags listed in Table 7-3 and Table 7-5. The other tags are written in a similar way. Rendering a text field with the H. Input text tag. The H. Input text tag is used to display a text field. A similar tag, the H. Output text tag, displays a read-only, single-line string. This section shows you how to use the H. Input text tag. The H. Output text tag is written in a similar way. Here is an example of an H. Input text tag. H. Input text int equal name label equal customer name size equal 50 value equal cashier. Name required equal true required message equal custom messages. Customer name. F. Value change listener type equal son. Bookstore 6. Listeners. Name changed. H. Input text. The label attribute specifies a user-friendly name that will be used in the substitution parameters of error messages displayed for this component. The value attribute refers to the name property of a backing bean named cashier bean. This property holds the data for the name component. After the user submits the form, the value of the name property and cashier bean will be set to the text entered in the field corresponding to this tag. The required attribute causes the page to reload, displaying errors, if the user does not enter a value in the name text field. The JavaServer faces implementation checks whether the value of the component is null or is an empty string. If your component must have a non-null value or a string value at least one character in length, you should add a required attribute to your tag and set its value to true. If your tag has a required attribute that is set to true and the value is null or a zero-length string, no other validators that are registered on the tag are called. If your tag does not have a required attribute set to true, other validators that are registered on the tag are called, but those validators must handle the possibility of a null or zero-length string. See validating null and empty strings for more information. Rendering a password field with the H. Input secret tag. The H. Input secret tag renders an input type equal password, HTML tag. When the user types a string into this field, a row of asterisks is displayed instead of the text typed by the user. Here is an example. H. Input secret redisplay equal false value equal log in bean. Password. In this example, the redisplay attribute is set to false. This will prevent the password from being displayed in a query string or in the source file of the resulting HTML page. Rendering a label with the H. Output label tag. The H. Output label tag is used to attach a label to a specified input field for the purpose of making it accessible. The following page uses an H. Output label tag to render the label of a checkbox. H. Select Boolean checkbox int equal fan club binding equal cashier. Special offer. H. Output label for equal fan club binding equal cashier. Special offer text. H. Output text int equal fan club label value equal bundle. Duke fan club. H. Output label. The for attribute of the H. Output label tag maps to the id of the input field to which the label is attached. The H. Output text tag nested inside the H. Output label tag represents the label component, the value attribute on the H. Output text tag indicates the text that is displayed next to the input field, instead of using an H. Output text tag for the text displayed as a label, you can simply use the H. Output label tag's value attribute. The following code snippet shows what the previous code snippet would look like if it used the value attribute of the H. Output label tag to specify the text of the label. H. Select Boolean checkbox int equal fan club binding equal cashier. Special offer. H. Output label for equal fan club binding equal cashier. Special offer text value equal bundle. Duke fan club. H. Output label, rendering a hyperlink with the H. Output link tag. The H. Output link tag is used to render a hyperlink that, when clicked, loads another page but does not generate an action event. You should use this tag instead of the H. Command link tag if you always want the URL specified by the H. Output link tag's value attribute to open and do not want any processing to be performed when the user clicks the link. Here is an example. H. Output link value equal JavaDocs. Documentation for this demo. H. Output link. The text in the body of the output link tag identifies the text that the user clicks to get to the next page. Displaying a formatted message with the H. Output format tag. The H. Output format tag allows display of concatenated messages as a message format pattern, as described in the API documentation for Java. Text. Message format. Here is an example of an output format tag. H. Output format value equal hello, 0. F. Param value equal hello. Name. H. Output format. The value attribute specifies the message format pattern. The parent tag specifies the substitution parameters for the message. The value of the parameter replaces the 0 in the sentence. If the value of hello name is Bill, the message displayed in the page is as follows. Hello, Bill. An H. Output format tag can include more than one param tag for those messages that have more than one parameter that must be concatenated into the message. If you have more than one parameter for one message, make sure that you put the param tags in the proper order so that the data is inserted in the correct place in the message. Here is the preceding example modified with an additional parameter. H. Output format value equal hello, 0. You are visitor number 1 to the page. F. Param value equal hello. Name. F. Param value equal bean. Num visitor. H. Output format. The value of 1 is replaced by the second parameter. The parameter is an EL expression, bean. Num visitor, where the property num visitor of the backing bean keeps track of visitors to the page. This is an example of a value expression enabled tag attribute accepting an EL expression. The message displayed in the page is now as follows. Hello, Bill, you are visitor number 10 to the page. Using command component tags for performing actions and navigation. In JavaServer Faces applications, the button and hyperlink component tags are used to perform actions, such as submitting a form, and for navigating to another page. These tags are called command component tags because they perform an action when activated. The H. Command button tag is rendered as a button. The H. Command link tag is rendered as a hyperlink. In addition to the tag attributes listed in common component tag attributes, the H. Command button and H. Command link tags can use the following attributes. Action, which is either a logical outcome string or a method expression pointing to a bean method that returns a logical outcome string. In either case, the logical outcome string is used to determine what page to access when the command component tag is activated. Action listener, which is a method expression pointing to a bean method that processes an action event fired by the command component tag. See referencing a method that performs navigation for more information on using the action attribute. See referencing a method that handles an action event for details on using the action listener attribute. Rendering a button with the H. Command button tag. If you are using a command button component tag, the data from the current page is processed when a user clicks the button, and the next page is opened. Here is an example of the H. Command button tag, H. Command button value equals submit action equal cashier. Submit. Clicking the button will cause the submit method of cashier bean to be invoked because the action attribute references this method. The submit method performs some processing and returns a logical outcome. The value attribute of the example command button tag references the button's label. For information on how to use the action attribute, see referencing a method that performs navigation. Rendering a hyperlink with the H. Command link tag. The H. Command link tag represents an HTML hyperlink and is rendered as an HTML. A. Element. This tag acts like a form submit button and is used to submit an action event to the application. AH. Command link tag must include a nested H. Output text tag, which represents the text that the user clicks to generate the event. Here is an example. H. Command link it equal numerica action equal bookstore action listener equal locale bean. Choose locale from link. H. Output text value equal bundle. English. H. Command link. This tag will render the following HTML. It equal 83. Numerica ref equal on click equal document. Forms 8383. Numerica. Value equal 83. Numerica. Document. Forms 83. Submit. Return false. English. A. Note, the H. Command link tag will render JavaScript programming language. If you use this tag, make sure that your browser is enabled for JavaScript technology. Adding graphics and images with the H. Graphic image tag. In the JavaServer Faces application, use the H. Graphic image tag to render an image on a page. H. Graphic image it equal map image URL equal template world JPG. The URL attribute specifies the path to the image. The URL of the example tag begins with A, which adds the relative context path of the web application to the beginning of the path to the image. Alternatively, you can use the facility described in resources to point to the image location. Here is an example. H. Graphic image value equal resource images. Wave. Med. GIF. Laying out components with the H. Panel grid and H. Panel group tags. In a JavaServer Faces application, you use a panel as a layout container for a set of other components. A panel is rendered as an HTML table. Table 7-6 lists the tags used to create panels. Table 7-6 panel component tags tag attributes function H. Panel grid columns, column classes, footer class, header class, panel class, row classes displays a table H. Panel group layout groups a set of components under one parent the H. Panel grid tag is used to represent an entire table, the H. Panel group tag is used to represent rows in a table. Other tags are used to represent individual cells in the rows. The columns attribute defines how to group the data in the table and therefore is required if you want your table to have more than one column. The H. Panel grid tag also has a set of optional attributes that specify CSS classes. Column classes, footer class, header class, panel class, and row classes. If the header class attribute value is specified, the panel grid must have a header as its first child. Similarly, if a footer class attribute value is specified, the panel grid must have a footer as its last child. Here is an example. H. Panel grid columns equal 3 header class equal list header row classes equal list row even list row on style class equal list background title equal bundle. Checkout. F. Facet name equal header. H. Output text value equal bundle. Checkout. F. Facet. H. Output text value equal bundle. Name. H. Input text int equal name size equal 50 value equal cashier. Name required equal true. F. Value change listener type equal listeners. Name changed. H. Input text. H. Message style class equal validation message for equal name. H. Output text value equal bundle. Number. H. Input text int equal CCNO size equal 19 converter equal credit card converter required equal true. Bookstore. Format validator format patterns equal 9999999999999999999999999 to 9999 minus 9999 to 9999. H. Input text. H. Message style class equal validation message for equal CCNO. H. Panel grid, the preceding H. Panel grid tag is rendered as a table that contains components in which a customer inputs personal information. This H. Panel grid tag uses style sheet classes to format the table. The following code shows the list header definition. List header background color. FFFFFF. Color. Number 00000. Text align. Center. Because the H. Panel grid tag specifies a header class, the panel grid must contain a header. The example panel grid tag uses a facet tag for the header. Facets can have only one child, so an H. Panel group tag is needed if you want to group more than one component within a facet. The example H. Panel grid tag has only one cell of data, so an H. Panel group tag is not needed, the H. Panel group tag has an attribute, layout, in addition to those listed in common component tag attributes. If the layout attribute has the value block, an HTML div element is rendered to enclose the row. Otherwise, an HTML span element is rendered to enclose the row. If you are specifying styles for the H. Panel group tag, you should set the layout attribute to block in order for the styles to be applied to the components within the H. Panel group tag. You should do this because styles, such as those that set width and height, are not applied to inline elements, which is how content enclosed by the span element is defined. An H. Panel group tag can also be used to encapsulate a nested tree of components so that the tree of components appears as a single component to the parent component. Data, represented by the nested tags, is grouped into rows according to the value of the columns attribute of the H. Panel grid tag. The columns attribute in the example is set to 3, and therefore the table will have 3 columns. The column in which each component is displayed is determined by the order in which the component is listed on the page modulo 3. So, if a component is the 5th one in the list of components, that component will be in the 5 modulo 3 column, or column 2, displaying components for selecting one value. Another commonly used component is one that allows the user to select one value, whether it is the only value available or one of a set of choices. The most common tags for this kind of component are as follows: an H. Select Boolean checkbox tag, displayed as a checkbox, which represents a Boolean state. An H. Select one radio tag, displayed as a set of radio buttons. An H. Select one menu tag, displayed as a drop-down menu, with a scrollable list. And H. Select one list box tag, displayed as a list box, with an unscrollable list. Figure 7-3 shows examples of these components. Figure 7-3 example components for selecting one item. Displaying a checkbox using the H. Select Boolean checkbox tag. The H. Select Boolean checkbox tag is the only tag that JavaServer Faces technology provides for representing a Boolean state. Here is an example that shows how to use the H. Select Boolean checkbox tag. H. Select Boolean checkbox it equal fan club rendered equal false binding equal cashier. Special offer. H. Output label for equal fan club rendered equal false binding equal cashier. Special offer text. H. Output text it equal fan club label value equal bundle. Duke fan club. H. Output label. This example tag displays a checkbox to allow users to indicate whether they want to join the Duke fan club. The label for the checkbox is rendered by the output label tag. The text is represented by the nested output text tag. Displaying a menu using the H. Select one menu tag. A component that allows the user to select one value from a set of values can be rendered as a list box, a set of radio buttons, or a menu. This section describes the H. Select one menu tag. The H. Select one radio and H. Select one list box tags are used in a similar way. The H. Select one list box tag is similar to the H. Select one menu tag except that H. Select one list box defines a size attribute that determines how many of the items are displayed at once. The H. Select one menu tag represents a component that contains a list of items from which a user can choose one item. This menu component is also commonly known as a drop-down list or a combo box. The following code snippet shows how the H. Select one menu tag is used to allow the user to select a shipping method. H. Select one menu it equal shipping option required equal true value equal cashier. Shipping option. F. Select item value equal to item label equal bundle. Quick ship. F. Select item value equal 5 item label equal bundle. Normal ship. F. Select item value equal 7 item label equal bundle. Saver ship. H. Select one menu. The value attribute of the H. Select one menu tag maps to the property that holds the currently selected item's value. You are not required to provide a value for the currently selected item. If you don't provide a value, the first item in the list is selected by default. Like the H. Select one radio tag, the select one menu tag must contain either an F. Select items tag or a set of F. Select item tags for representing the items in the list. Using the F. Select item and F. Select items tags describes these tags, displaying components for selecting multiple values. In some cases, you need to allow your users to select multiple values rather than just one value from a list of choices. You can do this using one of the following component tags: an H. Select many checkbox tag, displayed as a set of checkboxes. An H. Select many menu tag, displayed as a drop-down menu. An H. Select menu list box tag, displayed as a list box. Figure 7-4 shows examples of these components. Figure 7-4 example components for selecting multiple values. These tags allow the user to select 0 or more values from a set of values. This section explains the H. Select menu checkbox tag. The H. Select menu list box and H. Select menu tags are used in a similar way. Unlike a menu, a list box displays a subset of items in a box. A menu displays only one item at a time when the user is not selecting the menu. The size attribute of the H. Select menu list box tag determines the number of items displayed at one time. The list box includes a scroll bar for scrolling through any remaining items in the list. The H. Select menu checkbox tag renders a set of checkboxes, with each checkbox representing one value that can be selected. H. Select menu checkbox it equal newsletters layout equal page direction value equal cashier. Newsletters. F. Select items value equal newsletters. H. Select menu checkbox. The value attribute of the H. Select menu checkbox tag identifies the newsletters property of the cashier backing bean. This property holds the values of the currently selected items from the set of checkboxes. You are not required to provide a value for the currently selected items. If you don't provide a value, the first item in the list is selected by default. The layout attribute indicates how the set of checkboxes is arranged on the page. Because layout is set to page direction, the checkboxes are arranged vertically. The default is line direction, which aligns the checkboxes horizontally. The H. Select menu checkbox tag must also contain a tag or set of tags representing the set of checkboxes. To represent a set of items, you use the F. Select items tag. To represent each item individually, you use AF. Select item tag. The following subsection explains these tags in more detail. Using the F. Select item in F. Select items tags. The F. Select item in F. Select items tags represent components that can be nested inside a component that allows you to select one or multiple items. In F. Select item tag contains the value, label, and description of a single item. In F. Select items tag contains the values, labels, and descriptions of the entire list of items. You can use either a set of F. Select item tags or a single F. Select items tag within your component tag. The advantages of using the F. Select items tag are as follows. Items can be represented by using different data structures, including array, map, and collection. The value of the F. Select items tag can represent even a generic collection of POJOs. Different lists can be concatenated into a single component, and the lists can be grouped within the component. Values can be generated dynamically at runtime. The advantages of using F. Select item are as follows. Items in the list can be defined from the page. Less code is needed in the bean for the select item properties. The rest of this section shows you how to use the F. Select items and F. Select item tags. Using the F. Select items tag. The following example from displaying components for selecting multiple values shows how to use the H. Select menu checkbox tag. H. Select menu checkbox it equal newsletters layout equal page direction value equal cashier. Newsletters. F. Select items value equal newsletters. H. Select menu checkbox. The value attribute of the F. Select items tag is bound to the backing bean newsletters. You can also create the list of items programmatically in the backing bean. See writing bean properties for information on how to write a backing bean property for one of these tags, using the F. Select item tag. The F. Select item tag represents a single item in a list of items. Here is the example from displaying a menu using the H. Select one menu tag once again. H. Select one menu it equal shipping option required equal true value equal cashier. Shipping option. F. Select item value equal to item label equal bundle. Quick ship. F. Select item value equal 5 item label equal bundle. Normal ship. F. Select item value equal 7 item label equal bundle. Saver ship. H. Select one menu. The item value attribute represents the default value for the select item tag. The item label attribute represents the string that appears in the drop-down menu component on the page. The item value and item label attributes are value binding enabled, meaning that they can use value binding expressions to refer to values in external objects. These attributes can also define literal values, as shown in the example H. Select one menu tag. Using data-bound table components. Data-bound table components display relational data in a tabular format. In the JavaServer Faces application, the H. Data table component tag supports binding to a collection of data objects and displays the data as an HTML table. The H. Column tag represents a column of data within the table, iterating over each record in the data source, which is displayed as a row. Here is an example. H. Data table equal items caption class equal list caption column classes equal list column center, list column left, list column right, list column center footer class equal list footer header class equal list header row classes equal list row even, list row on style class equal list background. H. Column header class equal list header left. F. Facet name equal header. H. Output text value equal quantity. F. Facet. H. Input text int equal quantity size equal for value equal item. Quantity. H. Input text. H. Column. H. Column. F. Facet name equal header. H. Output text value equal title. F. Facet. H. Command link. H. Output text value equal item. Title. H. Command link. H. Column. F. Facet name equal footer. H. Panel group. H. Output text value equal total. H. Output text value equal cart. Total. F. Convert number type equal currency. H. Output text. H. Panel group. F. Facet. H. Data table. Figure 7-5 shows a data grid that this H. Data table tag can display. Figure 7-5 table on a web page. The example H. Data table tag displays the books in the shopping cart, as well as the quantity of each book in the shopping cart, the prices, and a set of buttons the user can click to remove books from the shopping cart. The H. Column tags represent columns of data in a data component. While the data component is iterating over the rows of data, it processes the column component associated with each H. Column tag for each row in the table. The H. Data table tag shown in the preceding code example iterates through the list of books cart. Items in the shopping cart and displays their titles, authors, and prices each time the H. Data table tag iterates through the list of books, it renders one cell in each column. The H. Data table and H. Column tags use facets to represent parts of the table that are not repeated or updated. These parts include headers, footers, and captions. In the preceding example, H. Column tags include F. Facet tags for representing column headers or footers. The H. Column tag allows you to control the styles of these headers and footers by supporting the header class and footer class attributes. These attributes accept space-separated lists of CSS classes, which will be applied to the header and footer cells of the corresponding column in the rendered table. Facets can have only one child, so an H. Panel group tag is needed if you want to group more than one component within an F. Facet. Because the facet tag representing the footer includes more than one tag, the panel group is needed to group those tags. Finally, this H data table tag includes an F facet tag with its name attribute set to caption, causing a table caption to be rendered below the table. This table is a classic use case for a data component because the number of books might not be known to the application developer or the page author when that application is developed. The data component can dynamically adjust the number of rows of the table to accommodate the underlying data. The value attribute of an H data table tag references the data to be included in the table. This data can take the form of any of the following: a list of beans, an array of beans, a single bean, a JavaX, faces, model, data model object, a Java, SQL, result set object, a JavaX, servlet, JSP, JSTL, SQL, result object, a JavaX, SQL, row set object. All data sources for data components have a data model wrapper. Unless you explicitly construct a data model wrapper, the JavaServer Faces implementation will create one around data of any of the other acceptable types. See Writing Bean Properties for more information on how to write properties for use with the data component. The var attribute specifies a name that is used by the components within the H data table tag as an alias to the data referenced in the value attribute of data table. In the example H data table tag, the value attribute points to a list of books. The var attribute points to a single book in that list. As the H data table tag iterates through the list, each reference to item points to the current book in the list. The H data table tag also has the ability to display only a subset of the underlying data. This feature is not shown in the preceding example. To display a subset of the data, you use the optional first and rows attributes. The first attribute specifies the first row to be displayed. The rows attribute specifies the number of rows, starting with the first row, to be displayed. For example, if you wanted to display records 2 through 10 of the underlying data, you would set first to 2 and rows to 9. When you display a subset of the data in your pages, you might want to consider including a link or button that causes subsequent rows to display when clicked. By default, both first and rows are set to 0, and this causes all the rows of the underlying data to display. Table 7-7 shows the optional attributes for the H data table tag. Table 7-7 optional attributes for the H data table tag attribute define styles for caption class table caption column classes all the columns footer class footer header class header row classes rows style class the entire table. Each of the attributes in table 7-7 can specify more than one style. If column classes or row classes specifies more than one style, the styles are applied to the columns or rows in the order that the styles are listed in the attribute. For example, if column classes specifies styles list column center and list column right, and if the table has 2 columns, the first column will have style list column center, and the second column will have style list column right. If the style attribute specifies more styles than there are columns or rows, the remaining styles will be assigned to columns or rows starting from the first column or row. Similarly, if the style attribute specifies fewer styles than there are columns or rows, the remaining columns or rows will be assigned styles starting from the first style, displaying error messages with the H message and H messages tags. The H message and H messages tags are used to display error messages when conversion or validation fails. The H message tag displays error messages related to a specific input component, whereas the H messages tag displays the error messages for the entire page. Here is an example H message tag from the guest number application. H input text int equal user no value equal user number bean user number. F validate long range minimum equal 0 maximum equal 10. H command button it equals submit action equals success value equals submit. P H message style equal color red font family New Century Schoolbook serif font style oblique text decoration over line 8 equal errors 1 for equal user no. The for attribute refers to the IDO of the component that generated the error message. The error message is displayed at the same location that the H message tag appears in the page. In this case, the error message will appear after the submit button. The style attribute allows you to specify the style of the text of the message. In the example in this section, the text will be read, New Century Schoolbook, Sarah Font Family, and a bleak style, and a line will appear over the text. The message and messages tags support many other attributes for defining styles. For more information on these attributes, refer to the documentation at http download oracle.com. JavaE 6. JavaServer faces 2. 1. Docs of Docs. Facelets. Another attribute supported by the H messages tag is the layout attribute. Its default value is list, which indicates that the messages are displayed in a bullet list using the HTML and LE elements. If you set the attribute value to table, the messages will be rendered in a table using the HTML table element. The preceding example shows a standard validator that is registered on the input component. The message tag displays the error message that is associated with this validator when the validator cannot validate the input component's value. In general, when you register a converter or validator on a component, you are queuing the error messages associated with the converter or validator on the component. The H message and H messages tags display the appropriate error messages that are queued on the component when the validators or converters registered on that component fail to convert or validate the component's value. Standard error messages are provided with standard converters and standard validators. An application architect can override these standard messages and supply error messages for custom converters and validators by registering custom error messages with the application, creating bookmarkable URLs with the H button and H link tags. The ability to create bookmarkable URLs refers to the ability to generate hyperlinks based on a specified navigation outcome and on component parameters. In HTTP, most browsers by default send GET requests for URL retrieval and POST requests for data processing. The GET requests can have query parameters and can be cached, which is not advised for POST requests, which send data to the external servers. The other JavaServer faces tags capable of generating hyperlinks use either simple GET requests, as in the case of H output link, or POST requests, as in the case of H command link or H command button tags. GET requests with query parameters provide finer granularity to URL strings. These URLs are created with one or more name equal value parameters appended to the simple URL after a character and separated by either end or end strings. To create a bookmarkable URL, use an H link or H button tag. Both of these tags can generate a hyperlink based on the outcome attribute of the component. For example, H link outcome equal response value equal message. F param name equal result value equal sample bean result. H link. The H link tag will generate a URL link that points to the response XHTML file on the same server, appended with a single query parameter created by the F param tag. When processed, the parameter result is assigned the value of backing bean's result method sample bean result. The following sample HTML is generated from the preceding set of tags, assuming that the value of the parameter is success. A ref equal HTTP localhost 8080 guest number response XHTML result equal success response A. This is a simple GET request. To create more complex GET requests and utilize the complete functionality of the H link tag, you can use view parameters. Using view parameters to configure bookmarkable URLs. The core tags F metadata and F view param are used as a source of parameters for configuring the URLs. View parameters are declared as part of f. Metadata for a page, as shown in the following example. H. Body, f. Metadata, f. View parameter equal name value equals sample bean. Username, f. View parameter equal Idaho name equal with value equals sample bean. User identity, f. Metadata, h. Link outcome equal response value equal message include view params equal true, h. Link, h. Body. View parameters are declared with the f. View param tag and are placed inside the f. Metadata tag. If the include view params attribute is set on the component, the view parameters are added to the hyperlink. The resulting URL will look like this: http localhost 8080 guest number response xhtml name equal Duke and UID equal 2001. Because the URL can be the result of various parameter values, the order of the URL creation has been predefined. The order in which the various parameter values are read is as follows: component navigation case parameters, view parameters, resource relocation using h. Output tags. Resource relocation refers to the ability of a Java server faces application to specify the location where a resource can be rendered. Resource relocation can be defined with the following HTML tags: h. Output script h. Output style sheet. These tags have name and target attributes, which can be used to define the render location. For a complete list of attributes for these tags, see the documentation at http download oracle.com. JavaE 6. JavaServer faces 2. 1. Docs. Vlux. Facelets. For the h. Output script tag, the name and target attributes define where the output of a resource may appear. Here is an example. HTML XMLNS equal http w3 org 1999 XHTML XMLNS our equal http Java Sun com JSF HTML h head it equal head title resource relocation title h head h body it equal body h form it equal form h output script name equal hello JS h output style sheet name equal hello CSS h form h body HTML. Since the target attribute is not defined in the tag, the style sheet hello CSS is rendered in the head, and the hello JS script is rendered in the body of the page as defined by the h head tag. Here is the HTML generated by the preceding code. HTML XMLNS equal http w3 org 1999 XHTML head title resource relocation title link type equal text CSS rel equal style sheet ref equal CTX faces JavaX faces resource hello CSS head body form it equal form name equal form method equal post action equal and type equal script type equal text JavaScript src equal CTX faces JavaX faces resource hello JS script form body HTML. The original page can be recreated by setting the target attribute for the h output script tag, which allows the incoming GET request to provide the location parameter. Here is an example. HTML XMLNS equal http w3 org 1999 XHTML XMLNS our equal http Java Sun com JSF. HTML. H. Head it equal head, title. Resource relocation. Title, H. Head, H. Body it equal body, H. Form it equal form, H. Output script name equal hello. JS target equal param. Location, H. Output style sheet name equal hello. CSS, H. Form, H. Body, HTML. In this case, if the incoming request does not provide a location parameter, the default locations will still apply. The style sheet is rendered in the head, and the script is rendered inline. However, if the incoming request provides the location parameter as the head, both the style sheet and the script will be rendered in the head element. The HTML generated by the preceding code is as follows. HTML XMLNS equal HTTP. W3. Org. 1999. XHTML. Head. Title. Resource relocation. Title. Link type equal text. CSS rel equal style sheet ref equal. CTX. Faces. JavaX. Faces. Resource. Hello. CSS. Script type equal text. JavaScript src equal. CTX. Faces. JavaX. Faces. Resource. Hello. JS. Script. Head. Body. Form it equal form name equal form method equal post action equal. And type equal. Form. Body. HTML. Similarly, if the incoming request provides the location parameter as the body, the script will be rendered in the body element. The preceding section describes simple uses for resource relocation. That feature can add even more functionality for the components and pages. A page author does not have to know the location of a resource or its placement. By using a resource dependency annotation for the components, component authors can define the resources for the component, such as a style sheet and script. This allows the page authors freedom from defining resource locations, using core tags. The tags included in the JavaServer Faces core tag library are used to perform core actions that are not performed by HTML tags. Commonly used core tags, along with the functions they perform, are listed in Table 7-8. Table 7-8 The core tags tag categories tags functions event handling F. Action listener adds an action listener to a parent component F. Phase listener adds a phase listener to a page F. Set property action listener registers a special action listener whose sole purpose is to push a value into a backing bean when a form is submitted F. Value change listener adds a value change listener to a parent component attribute configuration F. Attribute adds configurable attributes to a parent component data conversion F. Converter adds an arbitrary converter to the parent component F. Convert datetime adds a datetime converter instance to the parent component F. Convert number adds a number converter instance to the parent component. Facet F. Facet adds a nested component that has a special relationship to its enclosing tag F. Metadata registers a facet on a parent component localization F. Load bundle specifies a resource bundle that is exposed as a map parameter substitution F. Param substitutes parameters into a message format instance and adds query string name value pairs to a URL representing items in a list F. Select item represents one item in a list of items F. Select items represents a set of items. Validator F. Validate double range adds a double range validator to a component F. Validate length adds a length validator to a component F. Validate long range adds a long range validator to a component F. Validator adds a custom validator to a component F. Validate regX adds a regX validator to a component F. Validate bean delegates the validation of a local value to a bean validator F. Validate required enforces the presence of a value in a component Ajax F. Ajax associates an Ajax action with a single component or a group of components based on placement event F. Event allows installing a component system event listener on a component. These tags, which are used in conjunction with component tags, are explained in other sections of this tutorial. Table 7-9 lists the sections that explain how to use specific core tags. Table 7-9 where the core tags are explained, tags were explained, event handling tags registering listeners on components, data conversion tags using the standard converters, facet using data bound table components and laying out components with the H. Panel grid and H. Panel group tags, load bundle displaying components for selecting multiple values, param displaying a formatted message with the H. Output format tags, select item and select items using the F. Select item and F. Select items tags, validator tags using the standard validators.